Lindsey Graham, another Maga cult member, went on CNN to speak to Jake Tapper, where he was viciously humiliated, mostly by his own answers. So I thought this would be perfect to go over and highlight the shortcomings of today's Republican Party. So I've got a few of these lined up, and we'll knock them down one by one.
The Democratic Convention generated a lot of energy this week. Millions of viewers tuned in, a bit more than tuned into the Republican Convention. It was disciplined. It was well produced. It conveyed patriotism and unity. The Harris campaign says it's raised an eye-popping $540 million in 35 days. You are as close to Donald Trump as anyone. Is what he saw this week making him and his campaign nervous at all?
Well, I didn't see what you saw. If you're a Republican, you saw a hate fest. You saw a hate fest full of insults. And Donald Trump said to Barack Obama, "You're a nice man," after President Obama, insulted and jabbed President Trump continuously. It was designed to draw him into an exchange of insults. It was light on policy, heavy on insults. So I told President Trump then and now, you're going to win this thing if you focus on policy.
Yeah, unfortunately, Trump has zero policies, at least zero he can speak on, because they're Project 2025, and he's in the midst of denying that that's his policies. Instead, he just has vague claims that he'll never divulge on and hatred. I wonder why the Obamas were so hostile. I mean, it's only like Trump claimed that Barack wasn't an American, and his sons and everyone around him claimed that Michelle is a man, which, to note quickly, if a Republican ever asks you, what is a woman? Remind them that their party is the one who has called Michelle Obama a man for years, so clearly they're the ones that don't know. The DNC was full of policy, full of hope, and looking towards the future. They had young speakers from the new generation speaking about change, and yes, they gave Trump some of his own medicine in the meantime, which it's kind of weak that Republicans are just now pretending that they're victims that are being attacked, as if we're all gonna forget Trump's consistent attacks the last 8 years, as if he doesn't go on stage at every rally and call Democrats vermin and thugs and criminals and say they're trying to take over and ruin our country, but that stuff's not real, right? And Kamala raising almost $600 million in almost 40 days is nuts. I'm sure the biggest challenge for her is going to be spending it in the next, 80 or so days?
He posted on Truth Social, quote, "My administration will be great for women and their reproductive rights," unquote. That's language that obviously sounds kind of the left.
Yeah.
The top editor of the conservative National Review said, quote, "Trump's abandonment of pro-lifers is complete," unquote. Family Research Council President Tony Perkins said Trump is going to suppress his own supporters and, quote, "My advice is when you're in a hole, stop digging," unquote. What exactly is Donald Trump going to do to, quote unquote, help women's reproductive rights?
Yeah, no, you need to ask him about that. What I would say is that President Trump was a very good pro-life president. His position now, as I understand it, is that he's going to leave the abortion issue to the states. He doesn't believe there's a role for the federal government. My position has always been to be against late-term abortion.
What this is Trump seeing what pro-life did to ravaged Republicans in 2022 and 2023 special elections, and he's trying to pander for some of those votes back. Trump has been and will continue to be nothing but bad for women's reproductive rights. He is the sole reason that women's zip codes now determine their rights, why women in red states have higher maternal mortality, and why children in these states who are victims are forced to carry to term. What about that is good for women's reproductive rights?
Two pro-Trump organizations are hosting a January 6th awards gala at the Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster, New Jersey next Tuesday. The event is supposed to pay tribute to all January 6th defendants and raise money for these defendants and, in many cases, convicted criminals who assaulted the Capitol, assaulted law enforcement. Now, the Trump campaign says Donald Trump is not attending, although the organizers say they expect him to attend and that he's on the invitation as an invited guest. Do you think it would be a mistake for him to go? And is it a mistake for this event to be taking place at Bedminster at all?
Well, my view of January 6th, I was actually there, that the people who broke into the Capitol and assaulted police officers should go to jail. They committed a crime. There are people very upset about the outcome of the 2020 election.
Party of law and order. Remember that, guys, until you attack cops for Trump, and then we're going to raise money for you and pardon you if we get into office. It's pretty asinine to say the least, and Trump will have the nerve to talk about crime when first off it was higher under him. He pardoned criminals that he was friends with and is running on a pledge to pardon more January 6 criminals as well. It's all ridiculous. He just hopes that he can paint the narrative with his words instead of his actions. But then again, I mean, he could just say it's all a hoax and everything's rigged against them and his supporters will buy it, just like every other charge he's gotten, all of his civil suits, him trying to steal the 2020 election, all fake charges, all because there's a conspiracy against him, all because every institution is corrupt, all because every Democrat is corrupt and every Republican that doesn't agree with Trump is corrupt and every media station is corrupt and all tech companies are corrupt and everything is corrupt except for Trump. So why would it be any different for the January 6ers anyway?